My secretive girlfriend has a locked room in her house. My curiosity became unbearable, so I demanded she open it. Inside was an ugly and heartbreaking scene. My girlfriend Amy and I have been together for 5 years and we are planning on moving in together into her home when my lease is up in 2 months. Our relationship is great, we have arguments but not often and we always resolve them like rational people. Amy owns a house and she bought it about 10 years ago. The city we live in was depressed for a while. It's a big old Victorian house with 5 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. Usually we hung out at my apartment since it was near her work and I don't have a car to get to her place, but some weekends here and there I would spend the night. When my job was removed 5 months ago I started spending a lot more time at her place. It wasn't until after a month I realized the one room upstairs has a latch with a padlock on it. I thought it was really weird that it was a padlock and not just a door lock. I mentioned it to her and she just said yeah, I really don't go in that room or use it. I get that it's a big home and she lived in it alone for a long time so she didn't need the space but to padlock it like that? I asked her what was in it and she shrugged and said stuff like it was no big deal. I asked if we could open it since maybe that would be a good space for my home office and she said no. Now I'm really curious and it's actually sort of eating away at me. I don't care what is in the room, I just honestly don't get why it is padlocked shut. That's weird, right? Am I being unreasonable since I'm moving in? I understand the right to privacy and I wouldn't snoop, and couldn't if I wanted to. You couldn't even tell from the outside since it's on the second floor. I've been sort of paying attention now if she goes in there or not and I don't think she ever does. I feel like since I'm moving in I have a right to know, but do I? I don't want to make her open it but she's so nonchalant about it and changes the subject that my mind keeps running away with me about what could be in there. Update, I had a long talk with my girlfriend when she got home from work in the morning about the locked room. She tried to blow it off a few times and get out of the conversation until I told her I couldn't move in until she told me what was in the room and I saw it for myself. I told her I didn't care what was in there. I was more and more convinced that it was probably GNS or something related to her work in law enforcement, as that really did make a lot of sense. Eventually she just broke down sobbing, big giant ugly sobs like I have never seen before. It was pretty shocking. She's not really a crier. It took a good 15 minutes before she could even start forming words that I could understand between giant sobs. It was absolutely heartbreaking to see and I knew as soon as she started crying that it wasn't a room full of GNS or work stuff. Actually, the room is empty. There is nothing in there. She was basically a kid at 19 when she bought the house and it was dirt cheap due to the city she lived in and those other factors. She had always been smart with money so she had a big down payment and was planning on taking the rest of her savings to fix it up. In her 3rd week living there she had a home invasion while she was home in that room and she was assaulted. She had no money to move and no family around so she stayed in the home after buying a security system and locking the door up and planning to just never unlock it and basically never go in that room again. I seriously was not expecting that at all and it has been a long week for her and I feel terrible I made her tell me but she says that she's glad I know now. She never told me before because she didn't want to, which I totally respect. Also that is when she decided to start a career in law enforcement to help other people.